All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for Weather Where You Are. We have quite the topic to talk about. We have mentioned it here and there about how October has been a very dry month, and we are going to talk about if we are currently on track to break quite the record in terms of rainfall. Hope you are enjoying your Monday. A little gloomy out there, so I know the weather probably hasn't been so motivating coming off of a pretty nice weekend, but changes on the horizon when it comes to in terms of sunshine, some more warmer weather on the way, and maybe some rain, something that we really need. We've had quite the rain-free stretch. In fact, 28 days without rain. The last time we did have any kind of measurable rainfall was back on September 29th. So the last day of September started our dry stretch, and that has continued all the way until now into late October. So 28 days now. That's not the longest we've ever gone without rain. I'm going to throw a couple of statistics at you. So the longest time that we went without any kind of measurable rainfall was 43 days. That was back in 2016. That's when we had some wildfires, obviously some pretty serious drought. But that's not the record we're looking at. The record we're looking at to break is the first ever dry month. That 46-day stretch started in the middle of October, and then it went all the way into the middle of November, end of November. And so if we don't get any rain this October, this will be the first ever month on record without a single even trace of rain. A trace of rain is the current record set back years and years and years ago. So we were looking at some rain yesterday on First Alert Radar. It did not fall over the airport where it counted. So if you're like, wait a second, I got some rain at my house yesterday. Well, if it didn't fall at the airport, it doesn't count in the record books. So not saying that you don't matter, because you do. But in terms of records, no, we need it at the airport. We didn't get any rain at the airport yesterday. So here's a look at kind of what to expect this week. We are quite literally going to miss it by one day, okay? We're going to be dry October 29th, which is tomorrow, October 30th, which is Wednesday, and then, of course, Halloween on Thursday. November 1st, the first day of the new month, we do have the chance for rain. A few showers possible along cold front. Now, that still needs a little bit of work to do when it comes to the forecast, but we're going to be dry today all the way into the end of October. At least that's what the forecast is right now. So it looks like right now we are on track to break that record and have the first ever dry month that Atlanta has ever recorded since we started keeping records, which is just insane. And I think it's even more baffling that we're literally going to miss it by one day. If that cold front moves a little faster, that could bring us some rain on Halloween, which, of course, could interrupt trick-or-treating plans. And it's funny because last year we actually had a cold front the day before Halloween. October 30th, we were in the mid-80s, and then Halloween was freezing. I know you remember it, because I remember handing out candy in my neighborhood, and I was shivering. But we had only a high in the 60s, and it dropped into the 40s at night. So we always seem to get a cold front. We always seem to get a cold front around Halloween. But this time it looks like it's going to come after the physical holiday. So that will not only keep us dry for the month of October, but it will also keep us warm for Halloween. So if you're thinking about your Halloween already, which I know you are because it's the week of, I know the kids are excited, you won't need to worry about the jacket. Let's talk about that rain. Again, we will have a cold front move through. This is going to bring quite a messy Halloween. The potential for rain, maybe even some isolated severe storms in parts of Mississippi, Tennessee, all the way into Kentucky. So the potential for rain, unfortunately, to our neighbors to the west. So their Halloween not going to be quite as nice. But that front will knock on our door Friday and offer us the chance for rain. Now, this model is a little more aggressive with that rainfall. The GFS model, we look long range at a handful of models, but the GFS and Euro are usually pretty reliable. The GFS is a lot drier. What you're looking at here is the Euro that holds that front together a little bit more. So we're going to have wind coming out of the south ahead of this front. So that will pump in a little bit more moisture. That will increase our dew points, our moisture content in the air. So I do think that this front will have something to stand on as it moves through, but something that we'll be keeping a closer eye on as we head through the end of the week. Right now, though, it looks like rain again. We're going to miss it by one day. We needed it on October 31st to not break a really big record. But of course, again, that also comes with a drier Halloween, which I think we can all get behind. Here's a look at the rainfall totals. Still not really going to pick up all that much, it looks like right now. This is the European model, which is the wetter model, and it is still only showing about 1/10 of an inch of rain. We really need the rain. I'm sure you've noticed all the fall color that's been out there recently. We are near peak. Next week is technically when we start going to that peak leaf color. If you've been up to the mountains recently, you know that the color has just exploded up there. So we're getting near peak, but unfortunately, if we don't get any rain, then the leaves are going to die. They're going to change colors, and then maybe this cold front comes through, picks up the wind a little bit, and all those trees and all the leaves, they don't have any moisture, so they're all starting to die while they're changing color because we have the cold mornings that have blocked any of the chlorophyll production, which makes leaves green. They're not getting any kind of moisture to keep them alive. So it'll only take one clean sweep of a cold front to kind of knock them all down. So we need a little bit of rain. A tenth of an inch is better than nothing, I guess. Again, this is just one model, but we need some sort of rain to keep the leaves alive so we can enjoy that color a little longer as we head into the peak. But I know we've seen some really beautiful color out there already, so hopefully you've been enjoying that. And it looks like that it will start to peak as we head into next week. We've had plenty of cool mornings, nice and warm sunny afternoons. That is the perfect recipe for beautiful fall color. And we deserve it. I feel like the last couple years our color hasn't been quite as prominent. Here's a look at that rain outlook. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like we are in the bullseye for a wetter than normal pattern. So we've had these really strong ridges of high pressure that have kind of blocked cold fronts from moving in. It's also blocked that colder air from moving in. We've actually had some really cold air to our north. Areas all along the northeast from kind of DC all the way up into New York experiencing really cold temperatures. A handful of people had freeze warnings this morning up in the northeast. But that cold air we're being influenced by right now from a wedge of high pressure that's pulling in cooler air from the north. So we are getting some influence from that, but an area of high pressure blocked that huge dip of Canadian cold air from coming our way, and that seems to be kind of a trend even going into November. We'll stay above average temperature-wise, and when you have that ridge, it kind of creates like a force field. So that will prevent any kind of really substantial rain chance coming in. Now, it doesn't mean we're not going to get any rain. It doesn't mean no cold fronts will come through. But when you're looking big picture and looking at average rainfall, we'll stay near average going into November, which is better than below average where we have been. So we'll hope for some better rain. And I will say October, statistically, climatologically, is a drier month. It's one of our driest months. So November is a wetter month. So even being near average is better than below average in October, which is already one of our driest months. So this is improvement, even though it's probably not what we want. We need more of an above average rainfall outlook. This is still better than what we've been experiencing the past couple of weeks with just the really, really dry and hot pattern. Here's a look at the temperature outlook. So yes, unseasonably warm weather is going to continue, and that will be for Halloween. I do want to quickly talk about our Halloween forecast since we're talking about October. Not that we're going to break any records. It doesn't look like in the heat department anymore. We did that on Saturday with an 87-degree high, almost 90 degrees in October. Yuck. But we are going to be warmer than average. Our average high right now around 70 degrees. We'll be above every single week, 80 degrees. The warmest day of the week, actually, is Halloween. And then that front, again, moves in on Friday. And that will kind of gradually cool us through the weekend. So while we're talking about October, we might as well talk about the temperature for October. But again, that record that we're looking to break, and it looks like we're on track to do so, is that if we don't get any drop of rain at the airport all the way through October 31st at midnight going into November 1st, we officially have the first ever dry month on record recorded in the city of Atlanta. And it does look like we are going to have that get put into the record books by the end of this week. All right, everyone, thanks so much for spending some time with us here on Weather Where You Are on Atlanta News First Plus. Lots more news and weather to come throughout the day right here, so make sure you're staying tuned in. And I hope you make it a wonderful Monday and stay warm. It's a little bit of a chilly day out there this morning. Have a good one.